Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Let's Talk About Market episode number 85. Sorry that we couldn't do it yesterday. There was some meet that we had, the personal meet that we had in Mumbai, our team. So that's why I couldn't join yesterday. But nevertheless, some important developments have happened today, and I think we have been speaking about this that this is an ongoing correction that is happening now. Whether this correction will translate into a deeper one or no, that needs to be seen. But nevertheless, we'll try and discuss all the scenarios, and so yeah, we'll discuss all the scenarios, and we'll also think about how to take these things forward, and what are the sectors, or what are the things that you might be looking out for buying, and what are the things that you may want to consider to short sell, or maybe even stay away from those. So let's talk about it. Yeah, Ajay, just give me a heads up once you are able. Just give me the confirmation once you're able to see the chart as well. If you all are able to see the chart, please just confirm it, and we can get started. Okay. So thanks for the confirmation. So see, one thing is that we had spoken about this, that there was this trend line break, and after that there was 4 or 5 days of continuously prices sustaining below that. And apart from that, if you know, over here, the prices were trending above the averages, then they had started trending below the averages. So these were the weeks, the negative signs. The other thing was that the RMI sell, which was in weekly. So the only hope, there was that the 20-week may hold, and it can lead to some bounce, but that did not happen. And I think in yesterday's trading session as well, only, when it gave up the 61.8% retracement, I think that was kind of the red flag which happened yesterday. And then today we had seen a follow up selling as well. Now, see, the levels that ideally we need to be watching out for, which is very important, is the 40-day exponential average. But I think, if this cycle has to complete, then probably for this week, and maybe even next week, there can be some softness that is expected. So what would be the levels that you may ideally want to watch out for? So in this case, it is this channel where we have kind of approached now. And the other thing that is there is that this low is broken. So now the important levels on the downside will open up. And if we see the price action, then it is directly 24,600 is what you see. But I think this is where now the derivatives data can be of very good help, which means that if we see the derivative data, we need to see where is it that the people are positioned now. So I think today was the weekly expiry, so let me just exclude. uh, so I'll have to do multiple selection. Anyways, these won't change much because these are very, very long dated. So, but nevertheless, so now if I just zoom out and I see, then 25,000 is where the maximum open interest is. And I think this is where the next support level lies, because if we see on the spot chart, the spot chart will tell us, all the way somewhere around here is where the important swing low was. So before that, the derivative data seems to be suggesting that 25,000 will be an important support level. And you can see that even in today's decline, we have seen some addition in 25,000 put as well. So over here also 25, 500 and all these have seen put addition, but the highest open interest is at the 25,000 mark, and that should be now the level to watch out for on the downside. And like I mentioned, I mean, there are few things that are telling us that 25,000 should act as a important level in the near term. So one is that, in alert wave we do something called as Fibonacci I mean, to get the levels on the downside, we do this Fibonacci extension, and that tells us that 25,000 approx is an important support level. And even the derivative data is suggesting that 25,000 will be an important support level. So somewhere around there is what I would expect, that maybe in the near term, there can be some fight back from the bulls. And if we see the short term indicators, now all of them or most of them are coming to this oversold zone. So this is what I was warning to y'all few days back as well, that if the prices are below the 40-day average, then you need to be careful before y'all are trading those signals for those bounce and so on. But over here, there was some bounce that was expected, that did happen over here. But after that, this little bounce gave room for further more downside, and that is what we have seen right now. Now swing, average swing, both are turning into oversold zone. So see, over here, you have to wait for the reversal, which means that there should be a positive daily close or something for you to confirm that the swing low is made. Until then, don't try to preempt, okay? But most likely, I am guessing that today this call minus put might also come towards this oversold zone, which is of this 5 lakh contract, and these two indicators have anyways come towards the oversold zone. uh, and as you can see that from the options data, that somewhere around 25,000 is where the important support level is, technically, I mean, from the option chain. And also, if you see the diffusion indicator, so it is this percentage of stock about 20 SMA that has still not come towards the oversold zone. But if you see for many other indices, 500 it has become 11, for 100, mid cap 100 it has become 15, for small cap it might be in single digit. Okay, no, it is at 10. Total market around 11, right? So and this, by the way, mind you, this, if you see it, if I see the Nifty 500 and if I do even the percentage of stock about 200 SMA, now that is also falling rapidly. In fact, 100 is almost near this oversold zone, 50 has touched the oversold zone. But as I mentioned, I mean, see, these can, you can see over here that somewhere over here, it entered this oversold zone. Then in this entire decline, it kept whipsawing within oversold zone. Okay, so these things can happen, and that's why you will have to somewhere wait for the reversal once these indicators enter towards the oversold zone. And as I was telling you, the see, in the market right now there are many talks also happening that maybe something like this can happen. And while you cannot completely rule that out, my assumption or my thinking was that maybe, so if you ask me honestly, I was thinking that somewhere over here, or worst case somewhere over here, we should bottom out and then we should kind of rally. That is what I was assuming. But now there are few sectors that I am seeing a breakdown, and in that sense, I'm still very confused how this entire thing will play out. But somewhere over here, is where I would definitely be thinking of opportunity. And more importantly, if at all, from here it bounces back, then that bounce back will be very closely watched. So because that will kind of determine the path, how do we go about it. So yeah, see, the problem is over here only, that these things can happen, which means that from overbought we went to I mean, from oversold we went to overbought, and now again it is coming back to the oversold. So the only time the only time these all oversold readings, if at all it comes and it won't work, is when you will have some black swan event. So Trump is doing, I mean, is fidgeting around with everyone for I mean, the recent one now is Greenland and so on. So if a war like thing breaks out and all these things happen, then this indicators can remain oversold for quite some time. But if we assume that everything is normal, okay, which means that जो भी छोटा मोटा news whatever is gonna come, and if he tweets something and all those things, if those all things happen, that is fine. But if something actually happens on ground, say, I mean, it may be anything, I mean, Iran or something, I don't know, but anything that materially breaks out, that's where you need to be careful. Now, why I think that probably somewhere around 25,000 is where there is a chance of some kind of halt, is because, if you all remember, I was pointing this out, that India VIX was at a very low level. Sorry, it is over here. India VIX was at a very low level, and see, I've kept the drawing over here as well. So somewhere, if this IV spikes to say somewhere around 13 to 14 kind of levels, and by then the Nifty reaches 25,000 mark, and those important levels are held, then I would expect that some sort of reversal to happen, because this is what we have seen. I mean, whenever those IVs come to around 13, 14 levels or so, that's where a short term bottom is made, and then an up move is happening. Okay. But in all this thing, I am not too sure. I mean, the way things are developing, I'm not too sure if this will end up making a new high, or it will again just go and it will bounce and it will sell off. I mean, those are all things we can only know once the once it starts playing out, which means that firstly it should halt somewhere around here, because even I've put the 200-day average, that is around 25,100. So somewhere around this 25,100 to 25,000 mark, sorry, is where we have this cluster of support levels. So I am honestly not expecting that to be broken in a hurry, at least in the near term. But yes, I mean, it is distinct. It is very much possible that that level also breaks and we fall down to all these things. But given that the way sentiment indicator readings are and so on, that's where I'm hoping that somewhere around 25,000 mark will act as a support. But if you are into the short trades, okay, the best way is to kind of trail and see how things unfold. Because see, over here, as the momentum starts picking up, you will see that the 40-day will not break, and in fact even the 20-day will not break. So what will happen is that there will be some pullback that you will see. It will touch 20 and it will keep selling off. So based on how aggressive you want to be, you can trail your reversal levels accordingly. As of now, in the short term, 25,000 is what the level that is possibly visible. And as I told you, I mean, we were talking about this since this trend line breakdown only, because there was the sell indicator happening, averages were broken, uh, trend line was broken. So, and over here we were consolidating. The only thing was that can this consolidation go till this level, is what the guess was. And that too, as I had earlier also mentioned, that on the monthly chart we have closed negative. So until this high does not break, there is a risk of a correction that is definitely there. And if you see the 20-month average, that is also somewhere around 24,640 or so, which is kind of around these levels, right? So these are the levels that are opened up now in the near term, with 25,000 being an important support level. And if 25,000 breaks on the downside, then it is 24,800 to 24,600 kind of levels which will open up on the downside. So that is something that you need to be mindful of. And I think one thing that I'm sure all of you all might be observing now, that the ones which are high P are the ones that are brutally getting mashed. So you need to be careful of those. Okay. And in this case, if you all recall, we were talking about reality as well, that how it has consolidated and then broken down. In fact, if you all remember, Godrej Properties was something that we spoke about, where this was a long consolidation, broken, and then just gone. After that, I was today seeing many other sectors in stock, and in this, ABB is now the fresh one, where this consolidation seems to be breaking on the downside. Earlier, I thought that it was consolidating around the sorry, if I do the monthly chart, so it was trying to consolidate around the 40 month, but now that seems to be breaking. So need to be careful, basically, from these names, because these are the ones where important support levels were held, but now they're kind of giving up, and it poses a risk of a correction in the near term. Okay. So even while you're seeing sectors, auto sector, which was massively underperforming, outperforming, that now seems to have broken the 40-day decisively. Again, this is not a good sign. PSU, I was frankly bullish on it, but now with the way the things are correcting, and this trend line has also not broken on the upside, it gives a fear of can this be a rising wedge pattern, and after that can we break down, and can these kind of lows open up? I am not too sure. I am just thinking out loud, and till the time the risk of a correction does not go by, you have to be very mindful of all possible scenarios. Okay. So that is there. So broadly, what I would say is that somewhere, I think that somewhere, this last leg of correction which has started now. Will My anticipation is that the worst case, it halts somewhere over here, but I don't know. I mean, with the way things are happening, can this end up happening something like this? Can't rule it out. So that's why, don't try to preempt a bottom at this point of time. So, of course, if you are a trader, now see the reason why I'm telling you of those minor levels of 25,000 and so on, because if you are a trader, you should know where important support levels are, where you need to be aggressive, where you need to take a back foot. So, say for example, if the correction ends up coming to the 25,000 level without any pullback, then I wouldn't be wanting to short very aggressively, because at some point of time there can be some pullback that can be expected, and those pullback can often lead to your reversal levels getting taken out. So you have to be mindful of that, and that's why we are speaking about the short term important levels that we need to watch out for. So from a short term perspective, 25,000 is where the important support is, and 24,500 kind of levels is where the medium term medium term important support is, where I feel that worst case, somewhere over here it should bottom out. But let's hope and see how things unfold. And also in this case, I'll be watching out for very closely what happens in the small cap index. That is specifically because if you see the small cap index, it is now around 50%, and as this correction unfold, maybe it can go towards 61.8. The moment it starts breaking below 61.8, it will kind of make me very nervous. And even for mid cap index, more or less it has been resilient. So over here also I would think something like this, similar to the Nifty index, right? Micro cap is the one that is at an important level, but I think the way the mood of the market is, I won't be surprised if it ends up breaking this low and even ends up testing this April low, because micro cap is genuinely very low. Very not so great pattern, basically, because over here also when the pullback was happening, it barely saw any pullback, right? So that's where the pain lies. And like I told you, PSU, you need to be careful. Reality is anyways gone. Pharma is another one that we had been speaking about this. This was a failed breakout, and then it went down. So not a good sign. Again, FMCG, you can see over here, failed breakout, and it went. So failed breakouts, or on the upside or on the downside, are never a good sign. And this is what seems to have happened with pharma as well. So you need to be careful on that. So far metal still looks strong, but you know as you're seeing that in the market, the weakness seems to be very much visible. So be careful on that. I mean, if people would have been in metals, they would be in gains. So make sure that you all are able to take out those gains as well. So make sure to trail it with some averages which you are feeling comfortable with. But that is how the entire market texture is, because one by one, the sectors which were kind of trying to break out and so on, those are all going down, and you need to be mindful of that. And because it is Trump, I mean, you never know what next move can be. So be careful of that. And as I told you specifically, the ones where the valuations are high, you need to be very, very careful. I mean, we have seen what has happened with Kane and all. So I was just seeing some other things. So because ABB falls into capital goods, I was seeing some charts of capital goods stocks. Again, over here, BHEL, same risk has started to emerge, that it is now breaking below the averages. So can it go till here or these kind of levels? These things are very much possible. Firstly, because if you see the result, I mean, it trades at a kind of 100 plus P. Now, someone will say that the earnings are depressed and that's why it is this. But when the market is in a mood of selling things, it won't look at this, because even Dixon, which was growing like crazy from 150, 100 and something P, it has gone down to 40, 50 P or so on, and still there are no signs of that fall kind of halting. Trent is another example, right? So Trent had a P of almost around 200 or so. From there, it has devalued, I mean, derated, and it has become 85. And 85 is still, meaningfully high P, where, the growth is kind of disappointing, and it is in that 15 or 20 kind of range. So be mindful of basically what you are looking at, and especially the ones where you're not very confident of the growth and so on, and those are high P. You can avoid it for the time being till the time market doesn't stabilize, because that's where the accidents can happen. Because we are now getting into the result season as well, so be mindful of that. And and in this phase, for the medium term guys, what you need to do is that watch out for which are the promoters which are now buying. uh, so for a few days you may not see much activity, because we are getting into this result season. But maybe after November 10th or so, you try to look into this. You will end up getting some interesting ideas here and there. But yeah, I mean, this is what you need to check. That's where you will get the clue that which are the ones that can do well, or which is the place where promoters are at least feeling confident about their business. So yeah, I mean, these are the things that you need to look out for. And also, as the correction unfolds, and maybe say it reaches 25,000, or worst case 24,500 or so. After that, you can run those heat map and see where the relative strength is. Okay, because right now, if you want to see where the weakness is, so let me put it this way. Okay, so from 7th of August, I'll say, where the Nifty bottomed and we saw the rally. So from 7th of August till date, the Nifty has given a positive return, right? But everything which is below the Nifty 50, these are underperformers. And you need to be careful from this. And you can see over here, the kind of names that are popping up. Infra, again, a failed breakout. Anyways, looking weak on the chart. PSE also falls into this basket. Total market, pharma, FMCGs, anyways, their reality. So these are the ones which are anyways underperforming. And if the Nifty does badly, these are the ones that can further weaken. So at least stay away from the outperformers, and the ones which are massively outperformed, keep trailing them if you have it in your portfolio. But I mean, if there are breakdowns that are happening, you kind of need to respect that, because you don't know what is happening behind the scenes, right? So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. Let me know if you'll have any question. I'll be happy to address it. But yeah, I mean, that is how I'm thinking at this point of time. So just to be very precise, in the near term, 25,000 is an important support level. So if you're a trader, that level is important. If you're an investor, maybe 24,500 is kind of an important level for you. So these are the levels that you need to watch out for. And on the upside, as of now, I mean, in the next 2-3 days at least, I'm expecting that there will be some correction. And after that, maybe somewhere around 25,000, we can get a pullback, provided we will see what the data is there at that point of time. And from there, we take it forward. If you ask me honestly, do I expect that 21, 22,000 can come? I am not of that camp, frankly. I mean, there is some differences that I have in opinion as well with, I mean, internally with Rohit sir as well, and so on. But we are having those healthy debates, and the main reason for me not thinking of that to that extent is mainly because of the way the sentiment indicators are, because FIs are short to the neck. I don't know how much more room is left. The only way those 21, 22,000 can happen is that if there is a black swan event in terms of war or something like that, or god knows, I mean, on the entire world, if Trump ends up putting 50-100% tariff and so on, and inflation goes off the roof and all those things happen, then that risk is there. So we need to be mindful of that. But if all things equal, uh, I would expect that somewhere around 24,500 is where important support level is. So, Suvarna, Rohit sir is bearish. I mean, I think so. We are bearish in the short to medium term as of now. Uh, but to what extent being bearish? I mean, sir has kept all the options open, and as of now, I am thinking that probably 24,500 is where the uh, you know worst case scenario would be, if you ask me. Hands on heart. So yeah. That's how it is. So yes, Om Prakash ji, आपका व्यू सही गया, so congratulations on that. I'm not sure 9% जितना हो सकता है. I mean, I'm not thinking that way as of now. Let's see. So Manish, I as I told you, I mean, you see, I don't want to give any stock specific view or so on, because there are calls also that we put out, and sometimes it can be interpreted in different ways. So I don't want. I would refrain talking from that. But all I can say is that the ones which are outperforming, make sure you tighten your reversal levels, because जब वो गिरेंगे, then it can fall off the cliff very very quickly. Okay, because you can see Oberoi fell 10% all of a sudden, right? So these things can happen. So please keep this in mind. I mean, the ones which are outperformers, good, they are outperforming, but make sure that you also take out gains from them by trailing it appropriately. So that is what I would like to leave it at. Any other questions, please let me know. Any other questions? Please let me know. Sagar, are you there on Twitter? I'm there, but I don't tweet much. Or I just observe. How do you see tomorrow? So, as I told you, Messi, that in the near term, 25,000 is possible. So maybe in next 2 to 3 days, that 25,000 can come. Uh, but yeah, I think in the near term, beyond 25,000, I feel it's a little difficult task. But as I told you, I mean, as tomorrow and maybe day after tomorrow, if the correction happens, so we'll need to see how the 25,000 put writers are behaving, whether they are unwinding and so on. Uh, let's see. So, Suvarna, as I told you, I mean, as of now, 22,000. See, if you ask me, is this possible? I would say yes. What are the chances? I would say I'm not very sure that we need to be that bearish at this point of time, at least. And the reason that comes out is because so what the FIDI data analysis that Ajay is asking. I mean, I'm coming from there. The only thing that it can change dramatically, for example, would be that, say, for I mean, FIs end up covering a lot of shorts after the expiry. And so let's take a hypothetical example. Okay, say prices went to this by expiry, and so this was the short position, and suddenly somewhere around the year, FIs end up covering a lot of shorts, and we see the positioning over here. Now what this can mean is that either a reversal can happen, or it has got fresh room on the downside to go, and that's where this risk will emerge. So a lot of things are conditional at this point of time. So let's take each level at a time. But as I told you, I mean, 25,000, 450 or 24,500 kind of levels, these are very very much possible. uh, Beyond that, we will need to see the data to find out whether are we going to go to those kind of levels where even 22,000 can come. That's a wait and watch thing. Can't comment right now, at least. After budget, 24,500 can happen, maybe. Let's see what. Silver, Manish, you can follow India charts. We are kind of updating over there, gold, silver, and all those views. Can't comment over here. Sorry. Yeah, Swarna, thanks. So yeah, I think uh, uh, it's 5:33 now, and I don't see any more questions. So we can end the session for today, and we can catch up tomorrow. And like I mentioned, while many of these indicators are in oversold zone, technically the level 24,000, 25,000 is where the important support level is. So let's see. Sagar says, I have heard that strike are saving the levels. What that strike are saving the level? What will make that we will be saved? If yes, then thanks. Sorry, I did not get your question. Let me read it again. I've heard that strike are saving the level. What we will make that we will be saved? Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, I think with this new update that we have made, I think these are all possible. Okay. So this is the trading view improvement that we have done earlier. If you all remember, uh, let me just check it. Earlier, if you remember, if you do this, if I go to Nifty 50 and I come back, okay. So, sorry, I think, wait, just give me a minute. So okay, this is not yet implemented. This will be implemented, but so there was one more thing. Earlier we had to, I mean that firstly, if I have drawn something on Eternal or something, it used to get overlaid, right? I mean, if you see over here, say I say trend line studies. Okay, I just need to check whether those things are deployed or no. Uh, just let me check. If I do this, if I do Adani Enterprise, yeah. So I think this is done now. Okay. Oh no. So actually the trading view changes are still not deployed. Uh, so yeah, Sagar, we will put those trading view changes as well. This we have. I mean, I have already tested it. These are all the changes that we have made. So as of now, in the dashboard, we have made some changes. But as we go live with the trading view changes, all those saving of studies and so on, all that will be possible. Okay. Yes, yes. I mean, yes, Sagar, I do agree that that was a big pain point. I mean, it was a big pain point for me as well. So we have done it very much similar to like this. Like say, for example, infra mein you can have three, four out layouts, and har ek layout mein, there can be different studies that can be made. That we have made it possible now. We just, I think, need to push those changes, and that will be done in a while because I personally had tested all those things. So those all should be done. Can I use RMI weekly for long term investment? So RMI weekly, maybe you can use it for timing, but try to think what is happening on the monthly chart and then react, and use weekly for your entry point. I think that will be more appropriate, Ravi Shankar. So fine. I think that's it from my side for today. Let's catch up tomorrow and let's see, what the market does. But yes, in the near term, 25,000 is an level where the Nifty can slide, which is like 200 points away from the current levels. And let's see from there what happens because, many of the sentiment indicators in the very, very short term are coming towards the oversold zone. So let's see how things behave then. Okay. So that's it from my side. Let's see you all tomorrow at 5 p.m.